The invisible power of energy bonds. Have you ever felt that, even when distant from certain people or situations, something still seems to drain your energy, as if an invisible thread were connected to you, sucking away your peace and vitality? This sensation isn't just a product of imagination. In fact, it can be a sign that you're trapped in negative energy bonds, connections that, although intangible, have a profound impact on your spiritual energy and emotional well-being. In this chapter, we'll explore what these bonds are, how they form, and why it's so important to identify them. Imagine your spiritual energy as a river that flows freely when everything is in harmony. The water runs smoothly, bringing life and renewal. But what if someone or something places a barrier in this river? The water begins to stagnate, and what was once a source of life transforms into a heavy and oppressive environment. This is exactly what happens when we allow negative bonds to form in our energy field. But how do these bonds form? They can arise from toxic relationships, traumatic situations, or even repetitive mental patterns. Sometimes we don't even realize we're carrying the weight of a connection that no longer serves us. And this is where spiritual awakening comes in. The awareness that we can and should cut these bonds so that our spiritual journey continues to flow in a healthy way. The good news is that you're not alone in this quest. Many people, just like you, are seeking spiritual growth and a lighter life. And the first step to achieving this freedom is precisely understanding how these bonds work. Throughout this video, you'll discover practical tools to identify and break these bonds, restoring your positive energy and reconnecting with your purest essence. But before we dive into the techniques, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever stopped to reflect on which people or situations might be draining your energy? Think about this for a moment, and as we move forward, you'll realize that the answer might be closer than you imagine. Signs that you're trapped in negative energy bonds. Have you ever woken up tired, even after a full night's sleep, or felt that when interacting with certain people, your energy simply disappears, as if sucked away by an invisible vacuum? These are just some of the signs that you might be trapped in negative energy bonds. But how can you identify these bonds clearly and consciously? In this chapter, we'll explore the main symptoms that indicate the presence of these harmful connections in your life. One of the first signs is the constant feeling of exhaustion, even when you haven't performed intense physical or mental activities. This happens because when we're connected to people or situations that drain our spiritual energy, our energy field becomes overloaded, like a battery that never manages to fully recharge. You might feel heavy, as if carrying an invisible backpack full of stones. Another common sign is the difficulty in detaching from thoughts or emotions related to someone. Have you noticed that, even when away from a person, you continue reliving conversations, conflicts, or situations that happened? This can be an indication that there's a negative energy bond keeping this connection alive in your mind and heart. These repetitive thoughts are like threads that tie us to the past, preventing our spiritual growth. Additionally, observe how you feel after interacting with certain people. If, after a meeting or even a message, you feel anxious, irritated, or exhausted, it's likely that this relationship is affecting your positive energy. Healthy relationships should bring lightness and inspiration, not the opposite. And if you notice that you're constantly sacrificing yourself for someone without receiving anything in return, this too can be a sign that there's an energy imbalance. But what about situations? Yes, they can also create negative bonds. For example, if you've been through a trauma or a significant experience, it's possible that part of your energy is still trapped in that moment. This can manifest as fears, blockages, or even behavior patterns that we repeat without realizing. Energy cleansing is essential to release these ties and allow your spiritual journey to advance. Now, here's an important reflection. Can you identify any of these signs in your life? Think about how they might be influencing your daily life. And remember, recognizing these symptoms is the first step to freeing yourself. In the next chapter, we'll explore how these bonds form and why it's so difficult to break them. Are you ready to understand the roots of these connections? How negative energy bonds form? Imagine that each interaction you have with someone or each experience you live is like a seed planted in the soil of your energy field. Some of these seeds grow and transform into flowers, bringing beauty and vitality to your life. Others, however, can become weeds, sucking nutrients from the soil and preventing the flowers from thriving. But how do these energetic weeds form? And why is it so difficult to pull them out by the root? Negative energy bonds can form in various ways, but one of the most common is through intense emotions. Anger, fear, guilt, hurt, and even unrequited love can create deep connections between people. When we feel something very strongly, we emit spiritual energy that can attach to another person, especially if they're also emotionally involved in the situation. It's as if our emotions created an invisible but powerful link. Another common form of these bonds forming is through emotional dependency. When we place our happiness, self-esteem, or sense of security in another person, we create a bond that can become toxic over time. This type of connection is especially common in relationships where there's a power imbalance or where one of the parties constantly feels inferior. Energy healing begins precisely with breaking these patterns of dependency. But what about situations? How do they create negative bonds? Imagine that you've been through a traumatic experience, like losing a job or ending a relationship. Even though the event has passed, part of your energy can remain trapped in that moment, as if you were reliving the situation repeatedly in your mind. This creates a vicious cycle where spiritual energy cannot flow freely, generating blockages and stagnation. Now, here's a crucial point. Not all energy bonds are conscious. Often these connections form without us realizing it, especially when we're in an emotionally vulnerable state. For example, you might have created a negative bond with someone during a heated discussion, even without wanting to. And, although the discussion has ended, the energy bond can continue to exist, affecting your spiritual journey. But why is it so difficult to break these bonds? The answer lies in the nature of spiritual energy. It is fluid and dynamic, but it can also be persistent. When we create a bond, it becomes part of our energy field, and breaking it requires awareness, intention, and action. In the next chapter, we'll explore practical techniques to identify and cut these bonds, restoring the natural flow of your positive energy. Practical techniques to identify negative energy bonds. Now that you understand how negative energy bonds form, it's time to learn how to identify them clearly and consciously. Imagine that you're a detective of your own spiritual energy, looking for clues that reveal where and how these bonds are affecting your life. This investigation is the first step toward energy cleansing and restoring balance in your energy field. One of the most effective techniques for identifying negative bonds is self-observation. Set aside a few minutes of your day to reflect on how you feel after interacting with different people or situations. Ask yourself, does this person or situation make me feel light or heavy? Does it bring peace or restlessness? Write down your observations in a journal, as this will help you identify patterns over time. For example, if you notice that you always feel exhausted after talking to a particular person, this might be a sign of a negative energy bond. Another powerful technique is guided meditation. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and visualize your spiritual energy as a light surrounding your body. Now, imagine that this light is connected to other people or situations through threads. Observe which threads seem dark, heavy, or damaged. These are the bonds that need to be cut. Meditation not only helps identify these bonds, but also prepares the ground for energy healing. You can also use prayer as an identification tool. Ask God or your higher spiritual force to reveal the bonds that no longer serve your spiritual growth. Many people report that, during prayer, they receive clear insights about relationships or situations that need to be released. Prayer is a powerful way to connect with positive energy and receive divine guidance. Additionally, pay attention to your dreams. Often, the subconscious uses dreams to reveal energy connections that we're not aware of in the waking state. If you repeatedly dream about a person or situation, this might be a sign that there's a bond that needs to be resolved. Write down your dreams and reflect on what they might be trying to tell you. Finally, don't underestimate the power of intuition. Our intuition is like a radar that detects energy imbalances. If you feel a hunch or an inner voice warning you about someone or something, listen. Intuition is a powerful ally in the spiritual journey, and often it guides us to where we need to look. Now that you have these tools, how about starting to apply them? Choose a technique that resonates with you and try it. In the next chapter, we'll dive into practices for cutting these bonds and restoring the healthy flow of your spiritual energy. Are you ready to take this transformative step? How to cut negative energy bonds and restore your positive energy. Identifying negative energy bonds is a big step, but now it's time to act. Imagine that you're holding a spiritual pair of scissors, ready to cut the threads that bind you to people or situations that drain your spiritual energy. This process might seem challenging at first, but with the right techniques, you'll discover that it's possible to free yourself and restore your positive energy. One of the most powerful practices for cutting negative bonds is creative visualization. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and imagine the bonds you identified earlier. See them as ropes or threads connected to your energy field. Now, visualize a bright and loving light surrounding these threads. This light can be white, golden, or any color that conveys peace and protection to you. Then, imagine scissors or a sword cutting these threads one by one. As each bond is cut, feel immediate relief, as if a weight were being lifted from your shoulders. Another effective technique is the prayer of release. If you're a person of faith, this practice can be especially transformative. Ask God, angels, or your higher spiritual force to help cut the bonds that no longer serve your spiritual growth. You can say something like, "I release all connections that no longer serve me. I ask that my spiritual energy be restored and that I be filled with peace and love." Prayer is a powerful tool for energy healing, as it connects you to an infinite source of positive energy. Therapeutic writing can also be an ally in this process. Take a paper and pen and write a letter to the person or situation you wish to release. You don't need to send a letter. The goal is to express everything you feel without filters. At the end, burn or tear up the letter, symbolizing the release of these emotions and bonds. This ritual can bring a profound sense of relief and closure. Additionally, practice regular energy cleansing of your environment and your body. Use techniques such as burning sage, incense, or essential oils to purify the space around you. For your body, try baths with coarse salt or herbs, which help dissolve heavy energies. These small rituals can make a big difference in maintaining your energy field. Finally, don't forget to work on forgiveness. Often, negative bonds persist because we hold on to hurts or resentments. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or agreeing with what happened, but rather releasing the emotional weight that these situations carry. Forgiveness is an act of self-love and an essential step in your spiritual journey. Now that you have these tools, how about starting to apply them today? Choose a technique that resonates with you and take the first step. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to keep your spiritual energy protected and flowing in a healthy way, so you can live a lighter and more fulfilling life. Are you ready to move forward? Keeping your spiritual energy protected and flowing, you've cut the negative energy bonds and felt the relief of lighter and more fluid spiritual energy. How can you ensure these bonds don't form again? How can you protect your energy field and maintain the healthy flow of your positive energy? In this chapter, we'll explore daily practices that will help you stay balanced and protected, strengthening your spiritual journey. One of the first things to do is establish healthy boundaries. Often, negative bonds form because we allow other people or situations to invade our emotional and energetic space. Learning to say no when necessary and prioritizing your well-being is essential. Think of boundaries as an invisible shield that protects your spiritual energy from harmful external influences. Another powerful practice is energetic protection. Before leaving home or entering potentially challenging environments, visualize a bubble of light around you. This bubble can be golden, white, or any color that conveys safety to you. Ask that this light protect your energy field and filter only what is positive and beneficial. This simple technique can make a big difference in maintaining your positive energy. Daily meditation is also an indispensable ally. Set aside a few minutes every day to quiet your mind, connect with your essence, and recharge your spiritual energy. During meditation, you can visualize healing light filling every cell of your body, dissolving any remnants of heavy energy. This practice not only keeps your energy field clean, but also strengthens your connection with the divine. Additionally, cultivate habits that nourish your spiritual journey. Read inspiring books, listen to music that elevates your vibration, and participate in communities that share your values. The environment and people around you have a profound impact on your spiritual energy, so choose wisely where and with whom you invest your time. Another valuable tip is gratitude. Every day, before going to sleep, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude is a powerful vibration that attracts more positive energy to your life and helps keep your heart open and light. When you focus on what is good, you naturally repel what is heavy and disharmonious. Finally, don't forget to self-evaluate regularly. Set aside a weekly moment to reflect on how you're feeling energetically. If you notice you're feeling heavy or disconnected, return to the practices of energy cleansing and protection. Maintaining your spiritual energy is an ongoing process, but one that becomes increasingly natural over time. Now that you have all the tools to identify, cut, and protect your spiritual energy, it's time to put them into practice. Remember that this is a unique and personal spiritual journey. Each step you take toward energy freedom is a step toward a more fulfilling and meaningful life. And if you enjoyed this content and wish to continue deepening your understanding of topics such as spiritual growth, energy healing, and spiritual awakening, leave a comment below sharing your experience. Which technique have you tried, and how has it impacted your life? Your story can inspire others to also embark on this transformation. Thank you for following this video to this point. May your spiritual energy continue to flow with lightness, and may you always find the strength to move forward protected and guided by divine light. Until next time.